The price of my love. It was a chilly October morning when I answered my daughter Sarah's call, expecting her usual warmth, maybe a quick chat about my day. Instead, her voice was sharp, almost triumphant. "Mum, we had our vow renewal yesterday. It was perfect, just for the people closest to us." Those words hit me like a bucket of cold water. Closest to us. For 5 years, I'd been their lifeline, paying their $600 monthly rent, stocking their fridge when money was tight, even giving them $1,500 for their first wedding. And now, at 68, standing in my own kitchen, clutching the phone, I realized I wasn't close enough to be invited. My name is Clara Thompson, and this is the story of how I learned that love can't be bought, and how I found the strength to stop trying. If you're listening, I hope you'll stay with me. This story's long, but it's real, raw, and full of lessons I wish I'd learned sooner. Maybe it'll make you think about what you'd do if you were me. I've always been a giver, a retired school teacher, widowed at 55 when my husband, Tom, died suddenly from a heart attack. Sarah, my only daughter, became my whole world. After Tom was gone, I poured everything into her, my time, my heart, my savings. When she married Ethan, I thought I was gaining a son, not a burden. But soon, I was covering their rent when Ethan lost his job, buying them a new couch when theirs broke, paying $900 for car repairs so they could get to work. I didn't mind, at least. I told myself I didn't. I thought that's what mothers do. I thought it was love. But that call about the vow renewal shattered me. I wasn't invited, not to the ceremony, not to the dinner, not even to a text beforehand. I found out through a friend's Facebook post pictures of Sarah in a cream dress I'd helped pay for with a $700 emergency loan last month. Ethan's parents were there, smiling wide, raising glasses of wine. Sarah's cousins, her college best friend, even their neighbor who always griped about their dog. Everyone but me. I stood in my living room, staring at the rug I'd bought on clearance to save money for them. The blue dress I picked out for the occasion, $150, chosen to look nice in photos hung unworn in my closet. I dreamed of standing beside Sarah, proud, included. But I wasn't part of their perfect day. A week later, Ethan called. His voice wasn't apologetic, it was desperate. "Clara, we're behind on rent. The landlord's threatening eviction. Can you send $1,200? We need you. Need you." Those words echoed, but not with love. For years, I dropped everything for them, cancelled my own plans, eaten canned soup to stretch my pension, dipped into the $25,000 Tom left for my retirement. And now, after they'd left me out of their vow renewal, they called like nothing had happened. "Ethan," I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside, "I've helped you for years, but I guess I'm not close enough to be part of your lives. Just your bank account." There was silence on the other end, thick and heavy. Ethan stammered, "Clara, it's not like that. It was a small thing, just a few people. A few people like his entire family, Sarah's friends, half their neighborhood, but not me." I hung up, my hands shaking, not with fear, but with anger. For years, I tiptoed around their feelings, measuring every dollar, every word, hoping for a crumb of gratitude. I'd been the perfect mom, the generous mother-in-law, the silent ATM who never complained when they treated me like I was invisible. But those words, "closest to us," woke something in me. I was done. That night, I sat at my kitchen table, where I'd written countless checks for their rent, their groceries, their dreams. I pulled out my bank statements and started adding it up. 5 years of rent at $600, a month $36,000. Groceries and utilities, another $10,000. Gifts for birthdays, anniversaries. Christmas $4,500. Car repairs, medical bills, that emergency, Loan for Sarah's dress $3,200. Total $53,700. $53,700 taken from my savings, my pension, Tom's legacy for our quiet retirement. Money we'd saved for trips we never took, for a life we never lived. All gone to keep two grown adults comfortable. The next morning, I woke up changed. My eyes, tired from years of worry, held a new spark. I made coffee, sat in silence, and for the first time in years, I didn't check my phone for a message from Sarah. I was my own priority. I drove to the bank where Mrs. Larson, the manager who'd processed my transfers for years, greeted me. "Clara, another payment for Sarah?" she asked, half smiling. "No, Mrs. Larson. I'm cancelling all automatic transfers. And I need to lock my accounts. No one else gets access." Her eyes widened, but she nodded. "Are you sure, Clara? You've been so generous." "Too generous," I said. "And I'm done." As she processed the changes, my phone buzzed. Sarah. Ethan. Sarah again. It was like they had a sixth sense for their lifeline slipping away. I turned the phone off and walked out of the bank, feeling lighter than I had in years. That afternoon, I came home to find Sarah's car in my driveway. My heart raced. She had a key to my house, one I'd given her years ago, thinking she'd use it to check on me, not invade my space. I opened the door to find Sarah, Ethan, and a man in a suit rifling through my desk drawers. My private papers, bank statements, my will, my life. "What are you doing in my house?" I demanded, my voice louder than I expected. Sarah spun around, her face a mix of guilt and defiance. "Mum, we're worried about you. You're acting strange, cutting us off, ignoring calls. This is Mr. Daniels, our lawyer. He's here to help." "Help?" The man extended a hand I didn't shake. "Mrs. Thompson, your daughter's concerned about your mental state. We're exploring options to protect you." "Protect me?" They were digging through my life without permission. "Get out," I said, pointing to the door. "All of you. Now." Sarah's eyes filled with tears, crocodile tears. I'd later learn. "Mom, we're family. You can't do this. Family doesn't sneak into my home. Family doesn't treat me like a cash machine." Out. That night, I couldn't sleep, not from sadness, but from adrenaline. I'd spent years believing it was my duty to give everything to Sarah and Ethan. But now, I saw it clearly. They didn't love me. They loved my money, and I was done paying for their affection. The next day I called Margaret, a retired attorney and old friend who'd helped with Tom's will. Over coffee, I spilled everything: the vow renewal, the money, the lawyer in my house. Margaret's face hardened. "Clara, this is elder financial abuse. It's not just wrong, it's illegal. We need to protect you." She advised changing my locks, installing cameras, and getting a legal evaluation to prove my competence. "If they try to claim you're unfit, we'll be ready," she said. I followed her advice to the letter. New locks, a security system with cameras, a new bank account at a different branch. I got a full medical checkup, including a cognitive assessment from Dr. Patel, who said, "Clara, you could run a small business with your brain." Those words were a badge of honor. My phone kept buzzing: Sarah, Ethan, unknown numbers. I ignored them all, focusing on my new mission, protecting my life. A month later, a letter arrived from Mr. Daniels, their lawyer. They were claiming I showed signs of mental decline and requesting a court evaluation for guardianship. My own daughter wanted to take control of my money, my freedom, my life. They'd lined up witnesses, a neighbor who called my cameras. Paranoid, a pharmacist tricked into saying. I mismanaged prescriptions, even Ethan's mother, who claimed I'd changed since Tom's death. I wasn't going to let them win. Margaret connected me with Mr. Hayes, a lawyer specializing in elder law. "Clara," he said, "they're betting you're too tired or scared to fight. But you're not that woman." He was right. I wasn't. Around this time, I met Joan, my neighbor across the street. She'd overheard Sarah yelling at me during one of their uninvited visits. "Clara, I've been through this with my own kids," she said. "You're not alone." Joan invited me to her book club, 5 women in their 60s and 70s, all survivors of similar betrayals. They became my lifeline, sharing stories, laughter, strength. For the first time in years, I had friends who saw me, not my checkbook. The court date came 3 months later. I wore my best navy dress, stood tall, and walked into the courtroom with Mr. Hayes. Sarah and Ethan sat across the room, avoiding my gaze. Their lawyer, Mr. Daniels, painted me as a confused old woman, manipulated by new friends into cutting off my loving family. Loving family? He called witnesses Sarah with her rehearsed tears, Ethan claiming I'd become erratic, the neighbor who twisted my cameras into paranoia, and a pharmacist who admitted he'd been misled about my medication habits. Mr. Hayes dismantled their case. He presented Dr. Patel's evaluation, proving my mental sharpness. Joan and her book club testified to my clarity and vitality. The bank manager, Mrs. Larson, confirmed my rational decision to stop transfers. And then it was my turn. I took the stand, heart pounding but voice steady. I told the judge everything: $53,700 in 5 years, the vow renewal exclusion, the invasion of my home, the emotional blackmail. I stopped helping them because I realized they didn't love me. They loved my money. I'm not confused, I'm finally free. The judge deliberated for 2 hours that felt like years. When he returned, his voice was firm. "Mrs. Clara Thompson is fully competent. Her financial decisions are rational and within her rights. The plaintiff's claims are motivated by financial interest, not concern. The request for guardianship is denied." I'd won not just the case, but my dignity, my freedom, my life. That night, Joan hosted a celebration at her house. We toasted with tea, laughed, and shared stories of survival. "Clara," one friend said, "you didn't just win a trial. You won yourself back." She was right. I sold my house, moved to a cozy apartment downtown, and started living for me. I donated $20,000 to a charity fighting elder abuse. I took a painting class, traveled to Italy, joined a volunteer group. I never heard from Sarah or Ethan again. I heard they moved to a smaller place, that Sarah got a job. Maybe adversity will teach them what my generosity never could. Some nights, I sit on my balcony, watching the stars. I think about the woman I was scared, manipulated, believing love had a price tag. That woman's gone. My name is Clara Thompson. I'm 68 years old, and I've learned that the most important person to love and protect is myself. What would you do in my place? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them with me, and let me know where you heard my story. Until next time, this is Clara, signing off with hope.